Hello everybody, welcome back to another Scarlet Violet video. Now, I'm going to be talking about my team for Series 2 because this is the same team that I've been using for Series 1, but I did make a few changes and adaptations to the meta because there's been a lot of like power creep coming into the game with like the Paradox Pokemon and like things like Fluttermane, Iron Bundle, Iron Hands, stuff like that. And this has been a very interesting meta so far. I'm learning a lot, having a lot of fun. But it's also, I've been struggling a lot too. Like this is actually insane how much stuff that's been changing a lot. But yeah, but one Pokemon that I didn't change is Serena because it's been doing well regardless. Because this is the same Serena I've been using for the entire duration of the game so far. It's Rocky Helmet, defensive, and it's just really solid. Really good like physical like tank. Because grass tanks are really like underrated because you got things like Breloom and Brute Bonnet running around with like spores and stuff, and then you also got like things like Azumarill and Dragonite and stuff like that, and this thing deals with all of that really well. So the reason why is because Serena's got really good utility. So Drop Kick is really good because wait, how do I? Okay, I can't like show the move except for that. There we go. So Drop Kick is really good because it lowers the attack as you hit it. So that's as you hit the opponent. So that's really good utility because let's say you're dealing with like a Dragon Dance Pokemon. Dragon Dancing means nothing against this because you can spam Drop Kick and do damage, and then it just makes them like, it doesn't matter. They'll get speed boost, but that doesn't matter if they can't kill you. So Drop Kick is really good, and it also prevents Serena from getting 2-hit KO'd by a physical attacker because let's say it does, if the move does like half, right? Because if they do half, you Drop Kick it and then you can synthesis up because the next move will do 33% of your health. So it's just really solid, and there's other situations where Drop Kick just does really well, and it also helps lower the attack to make something easier to switch in. So yeah, and then also Play Rough has been really good because it's good against dragons and like fighting types like Iron Hands or something like that. But I used to run U-turn on it, and while that does have some good utility, Play Rough is just better in my opinion from experience. So yeah, that's really good. Oh yeah, also good against dark types if Low Kick isn't stronger, because Low Kick hits based on the opposing target's weight. So things like Iron Treads and King Gambit will take a lot from Low Kick, especially King Gambit because it's 4 times weak to it. And Serena does get high jump kick, but I really hate running low accurate moves. So this is like, it's a consistent you can get because Low Kick has 100 base power against King Gambit, which is really good, and because of the weight, and things like Iron Treads as well. Pretty much almost one-shots that thing, even though I'm not running any attack investment, so it's really insane. And that's also partly because Serena has 120 base attack, so not only is it bulky, it also like hits it, you have to respect its damage as well, so that's really good. And synthesis is, I mean, obviously it's really good to have on a physical tank because you get to sustain your health. Even though you only have 8 max synthesis, it's still good enough for 3v3 and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like this a lot, and I've been making it work really well. I'm proud. But yeah, Kilowatch was the next one. Air Slash, Volt Switch, Discharge, Terra Blast. Now I did have Thunderbolt on this, but Thunderbolt Discharge has that a little bit higher of that paralyzed chance, 30% to 10%, which is Thunderbolt. So it's just really good, and also the damage. I'm not really missing out on too many damage rolls from that, from going from 90 to 80 base power. I did lose the game because I got a low roll against a Dondozo with like Discharge, but that's only one game, so like not gonna determine everything. But I think Discharge will be better overall. And then Air Slash is just really good. It gets like it like deals with a lot of leads really well, because a lot of the leads, like Stealth Rock leads, Kilowatcher can just come out and spam its coverage, including Terra Blast Ice, because Terra Blast Ice beats like Hippowdon, Garchomp. It doesn't one-hit KO Hippowdon, but it does 2-hit KO even with like a Citrus Berry. So that's really good. Mudsdale as well, I've been seeing. Just a lot of things, just like can't a lot of stealth rock setters like are weak to one of these moves, which is really good. Like Annihilate gets 2 hit KO by Air Slash unless it's like Citrus Berry or something. And Annihilate is honestly a very big problem for a lot of my team. So I'm glad I have this option there. And I'm running that competitive ability on the Kilowattra because Volt Absorb doesn't really provide too much utility for my team because I already have electric immunity. And it doesn't, no one even hits my Kilowattra with electric moves anyway because it's just not how the game flows. And also competitive has really unique utility, but I actually can just win games if you get the right setup because things like Straight Sap give it competitive, Intimidate, Parting Shot from like a Graver Snarl, Spirit Break, Rock Tomb, stuff, so many stuff, just like so many stat lowering stuff exists, and it's just really like nice to get that advantage with competitive. So I'm liking it a lot, and no one expects it either, so it's just funny whenever it happens. And then I didn't mention the Sweet Veil ability on my Serena. It's really bizarre because Sweet Veil is really good against Yawn spam, which is really good. Like Umbreon can't really touch this thing at all. So that's really good. And things like Dondozo, unless it fissures, can't really touch Serena, right? So yeah, Yawn is just really common. And also something I've recently adapted to is like Terra Fire Breloons. So if you switch into a Breloom, or if you're dealing with like a Breloom that's Terra Fire, Terra Blast is your thing, you can just Terra Water and you're still immune to Spore because of Sweet Veil, which is really funny. And you can just drop kick that thing so it doesn't do damage, and then it just doesn't do anything. So yeah, it's just funny like what these matchups are. But yeah, it just ends up mattering a lot. And the funny thing is, like on Pokemon Home, 97% of Serenas are Queenly Majesty, which if you don't know is an ability that prevents priority moves from hitting you. So things like Extreme Speed, Aqua Jet, Mach Punch, etc. But every Dragonite I face seems to just click Extreme Speed against me without knowing. Like they just don't know what Queenly Majesty does. So I was hoping that I would like get away with that. Just like maybe they think I'm Queenly Majesty, so they won't do it, but they just don't care. So that's just funny. And we're also in a Dragonite meta, so like you kind of have to counter that thing to survive in this meta, which that's just how it is in every meta. There's always that one thing that just everyone uses, no matter what the power is. It's just like, it's more about safety because Dragonite is really safe. Like it's really safe to use, and also things like Excalibur, things like Fluttermane, like everything that is meta has some safety, like a lot of safety. So, and it adds to the ease of use and just like overall effectiveness of the Pokemon. So the goal is to not make it as easy as it would be. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And yeah, so also I'm running this is the same tickets and set that I've been running, Mold Breaker, Covert Cloak as well, because of Salt Cure, Lumina Crash, Chilling Water, other interactions that Covert Cloak just ignores, which is really good. So it's just, I like it a lot because it gets like Gargasalt, which can Salt Cure my entire team and win without any effort, gets completely stopped by this because one, you can Encore it into Iron Defense, Curse, Recover, or Salt Cure, and Swords Dance up for free. You can also just Mold Breaker, or not Mold Breaker, you can just hit it really, really hard, like right out the bat with Hammer, and it forces the opponent is forced to switch into a 160 base power move, which is not going to be very effective unless they have like a hard counter. And there's multiple hard counters like King Gambit and Iron Hands. That's just the name of a couple. But yeah, this thing has a really good niche. I'm just going to say that it has a really good niche on my team, and it's really like important to have because of Salt Cure being so easy. Gargasol is like one of the easier mods to use, so I don't want to make that easy. I want to give that thing a challenge, and this is what I have to deal with it. And I'm also Terra Flying because of Fissure or Earthquake being common, because things like War Moon have Earthquake, things like Excalibur have Earthquake. And then I've been in a couple of situations where Garg wants to Fissure, like let's say it like comes out and it can't get Encored yet, because I've had some matches where that happens. They just want to like go straight for the Fissures. I just Terra Flying, and that's just like the extra like layer on the cake for walling, like for completely destroying that Pokemon. So it's just funny. And knockoff's really good to have for like getting rid of items in general. It's good, just good utility. Can't really pass that up. And also it's really good against ghost types like Skeleturge and Golden Go. Golden Go's a funny matchup because it's one of the only Pokemon in the game that can actually like mess up a bulky Golden Go, or just like make it annoying for Golden Go, because you can Encore Golden Go into Nasty Plot or Recover, and then you just set up for free. It's just so funny because normally Good as Gold would be immune to Encore, but since I have Mold Breaker, it doesn't matter. And yeah, so I have 2 Mold Breaker Pokemon on my team because of all the nonsense abilities that they've introduced and all the power creep that they've introduced with like Unaware and Good as Gold. So yeah. And then I have the Haxorus now. So also my second Mold Breaker Pokemon, like I said. I've changed Dragon Claw to Outrage just to get that extra power. And there's a huge lack of fairies in the meta besides like Fluttermane and other stuff like Ticketon as well. Ticketon's not really meta, it's like Fluttermane mainly. And maybe Azumarill as well. But Dragon Dance is really solid. Earthquake and Iron Head are really good moves in this meta. They just hit a lot of things really well. Like, I could go on and on about it. But I changed my Terra to Steel just because of like Fluttermane to deal with that, and also other matchups like Terra Fairy Skeleturge I've been struggling with the other set, my Haxorus, or the other Haxorus I used, which was Terra Electric. I had, instead of Iron Head, I had Terra Blast Electric. So that was really good against like Corviknight, Dondozo, and Azumarill when those were like a lot more common, and there was less like offensive power creep in the meta. So I didn't have a defensive Terra type at the time, but now I have a defensive Terra type, which can be offensive as well because it does give me stab on the Iron Head, but mainly it's defensive use. I try to use it defensively as well. Because like I said, with the Terra Fairy Skeleturge, they would have like Terra Blast. Every time I would switch in Haxorus to Skeleturge, they would like Terra Fairy the next turn and then Terra Blast me. So I don't want that to happen anymore, and I want the Terra Steel to counter it out. And then Iron Head after Dragon Dance is gonna do probably just one-shot Skeleturge if it's Terra Fairy, because of me being Adamant Nature and like Haxorus having strong attack as well, and Mold Breaker going through the Unaware as well. So yeah, really solid. And it also deals with the rodent forms as well, because if they want to trick you, it's not really that bad because you're not like a tank like Gastrodon that like doesn't want to be tricked with choice item, because it just kind of makes it useless pretty much. So yeah, speaking of Gastrodon, oh yeah, let me talk about Lumberry a little bit because, oh yeah, not Gastrodon yet, but let me talk about Lumberry because it's really helpful. Because also against Skeleturge, you can buy a turn of Yawn. Even in some cases, Yawn can buy you 2 turns, because if you click, like if you're faster than the Yawn, you'll get that turn, and then the next turn you'll be drowsy, and so that's just 2 free turns. And then when you actually get put to sleep, you'll just get woken up by Lumberry. So Lumberry is just really good Yawn counterplay. There's also a lot of Spore and Will-O-Wisp going around with like Breloom and Bronnet, so that's really good against that. And then yeah, it's just really good against like Clodsire too, because Clodsire wants to status you and then just be annoying. You just sit there and be a wall. Haxorus does not care about that, so that's really good. And then yeah, let me talk about Gastrodon a little bit, because I did change the Terra type to Fire, and for a few reasons. First one is to deal with power crept special attackers now because of the Paradox Pokemon. Things like Iron Moth and Iron Bundle are really strong. But Iron Bundle is not as strong as Iron Moth, but its coverage is insane. So what I have to do is so the good thing about Gastrodon is against it is that I can switch into a water move and get a special attack boost with Storm Drain, and I can get and then when they go for Freeze Dry, I can just Terra Fire and be resistant to Freeze Dry, and then I am still immune to water. So when you're fire and having a weakness gone is really solid. And then it also helps versus like Palafin. Palafin's been running like Choice Band with Water Stab and Ice Punch, and usually Choice Band Palafin will 2-hit KO Gastrodon with Ice Punch, but with the Terra Fire, that's not a possibility anymore. So that's really good. And then also Terrify is really good against all the Iron Moth, because you get to resist the grass and then you get to resist the fire as well. And then you just get the one shot it with Earth Power, so that's cool because it's 4 times weak to ground. And yeah, I've been running Mirror Coat recently because there's things like Flutter Mane that throw out stab moves, and since they're all like every Flutter Mane I'm running into is like specs, the moves will do like around half or a little bit over half. So Mirror Coat, using Mirror Coat to delete the Flutter Mane in one turn is just really nice. And there's also some other interactions where it can work, but I'm still kind of experimenting with that because I kind of want Yawn still, but I don't know which move to like. I'm still trying to figure it out because I want 5 moves, but I can only use 4, so it's kind of that situation again, which kind of sucks. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about Cerulege now because it's the last one. I'm actually running Flashfire now. I used to run Weak Armor, but Flashfire just provides so much more value in this meta because of the Iron Moth usage and the Volcarona usage, like with the Covert Dance Morning Sunsets being more prevalent now. And then with Life Orb, you can just 2-shot like a Volcarona, and it can't compete against you with Covert Dance either because it just won't be doing enough damage. And if Volcarona like commits to a Terra Water, then that's just unfortunate. I mean, and also Iron Moth can do that, but that's like a really low chance, and if you run into that really low chance, that's not really a big enough reason to change your moveset or idea because it's very low chance. A lot of the Volcaronas are running Terra Fairy and Grass, and that's what Cerulege is good against. It's also good against like Iron Moths because they're also running like Terra Fairy and Terra Grass and stuff like that. So yeah, my team kind of gets dumpstered by Volcarona otherwise because it can just Covert Dance against anything. I guess maybe Haxers can like take 1 hit from it, but overall it's gonna be really rough like consistently without this. And also, since we're like a Dragonite meta, Will-O-Wisp is really good at catching Dragonite switch-ins. I used to run like Close Combat in that move slot, but it wasn't really being used like if at all, because like the way I've been using this is like Bitter Blade, Shadow Snake a lot of the time. I've been using some Shadow Claws as well, but Close Combat just barely gets clicked at all. So yeah, I'm kind of experimenting with that as well. And yeah, Terra Fairy, I might change that, but I'm not too sure yet. But Terra Fairy is really good at being immune to Dragon and resisting the dark. But yeah, that's all I have to say for my team. I've been really enjoying it a lot, and just making it work for the Series 2 has been really good. And I've also been doing some streams as well. You've seen those. I'm going to be streaming some more soon as well. And yeah, so if you want to stop by, that would be greatly appreciated. I'd love to get to know some of you all, and can just chill and play some Pokemon. So yeah, hope you all enjoy that and have an awesome day. See you all guys next time.